My name is Mark Barry, and I've uploaded a book of poems to Amazon's system. It's available to purchase as a download to your PC, your Mac, your tablet, your smartphone. The details are in the description field just below. The book's name is My Broken Heart, 75 Days in the NHS, and it has 75 pieces about open heart surgery, in my case a quadruple bypass. The poem that I'm about to explain and read out is number 71 of 75. I had to wait 70 days for the operation because of arterial complications, suffering from angina all of the time. So this piece is about the day after the op. You wake up in the ITC, the intensive care unit, which, as you can imagine, is not exactly a fun situation. They give you a lot of spiel about how the drugs manage the pain and you're going to be morphined up to the eyeballs and you won't know any difference. This simply isn't true. At least in my case it wasn't. I woke up and I was in agony, as were the two other men who were in the unit with me, a Turkish man and an English man who I later got to know. You're given a morphine button and you're given also to manage the pain, but you're also given fruity pots and yogurts to gulp down, and you quickly begin to realize that the reason they put the towel on your chest, when I woke up in a stupor as a square towel on your chest, is to hold it to your chest so that when you retch, the wiring inside doesn't hurt even any more than it already is. And it isn't that you think that you're going to die. That's not it. It's that you just don't know how you're going to cope with the pain for that length of time. My wife came into the ITC, but it was the only occasion when I had to send her away because she simply can't deal with it. I now understand what women feel when they're giving birth, and some poor guys, the father is stood there, sat beside him saying, push, push. You basically want to cricket bat the guy over the head because you're so zoned in on surviving, and that is basically all that you can think about. So this poem is a little bit heavy in places because that's exactly how it was and how it still is. This is called Yogurts and Fruity Pots, and I'd like to dedicate this to the nursing staff in St. Bart's Hospital in the City of London who helped me through that night in February 2013. I remember a young nurse placing a square towel in my arms, which she crisscrossed on the top of my chest. In a stupor I looked up at her smiling face for a millisecond, thinking, who is this odd and unwanted guest? But it was my two legs that I felt first when they woke me up, massive wraparound bandages lining them both. And then the pain in my chest plate hit me like a hammer blow, as I gasped for air in my dry as a desert throat. The ITC nurse quickly leaves her table and chart to aid me, because my face registers pain I can't believe. She places the red morphine button firmly in my right hand. Press on this for a 5-minute burst to relieve. Nurse then leaves the room and me struggling on my own. Two male attendants enter but seem not to care. I lose it completely and shout at them I'm in agony, but they think I'm needlessly faking despair. Sitting me up and placing large cushions behind my back, the nurse returns with yogurts and fruity pots. You now realize that the towel is to help with the heaving, bring up bile from those nauseous stomach knots. But you're in so much pain you simply can't face eating, so you drift in and out of this sickly state. Then there's a moment when you realize you must swallow or die inside with a pain that won't abate. So you do what has to be done and you suck up the wretch and dig down deeper to find the courage within. There's a Turkish man opposite me crying out in constant pain, and I know how those wires are ripping into him. The nurse smiles at me as I vomit up what must come out, and I look down at 2 more desserts on my tray. Marianne comes into intensive care to aid in my recovery, but I send her home crying. Can't help, not today.